Good morning, my fabulous Sonder fam. I am so happy to be with you here this morning. We are kicking off our December weekly socials today since the month will be starting on a Monday the 1st. And if you know me, that is my absolute favorite when the month all nice and tidy starts on the 1st. It just makes things so nice. I don't have like the two journals going and all that confusing. And I always say if I rule the world, I will change it so that every month just has the 28 days, starts on the 1st, and we just have 13 months. It'll be fine. It'll make things so nice and tidy. So, and yes, definitely, Jennifer says, I love a fresh monthly start. It is so fabulous. And yes, this is definitely our December gift, I think, for me. And also, I am very excited to report we are getting our first snow of the season here in Denver finally. It's very late this year. Oftentimes it happens in October. And it's been super warm too. So it was 60 degrees yesterday. I think it's like 28 degrees or something this morning and snowing, but it looks so beautiful. And it makes me so happy because I'm all in the festive mood. So great to have you here with us. Is there anybody here who's new? This is your first social with Silk and Sonder. Maybe you just joined Silk and Sonder. December's going to be your first journal. You can just put a me in the chat or I'm new. We want to make sure to welcome you here. I know there are I see lots of familiar names of people that we always see, but I'm always happy. We love to see when there are new folks. And I know this is the time of year, December and January, of course, we get lots of new folks. So I just want to make sure that you kind of know what goes on here in the social. So if you haven't met me yet, my name is Maya. And like I said, I'm coming to you from Denver, Colorado. And we've been doing the Silk and Sonder socials now for many years, and it is always the highlight of my day. It is always super fun. And with me today, you'll know there's always two of us here. There's the one on camera, and then someone who's helping out in the chat. That is the fabulous Jen O. She is coming to you from Texas. She's popping on camera really quick to give a little wave. She's going to be helping you out in the chat if you have any questions or need some links or anything like that. So she will be keeping an eye. I know she did a monthly setup last night. Tonight, Katie is going to do the monthly setup, and I'm going to be behind the scenes. Then tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a monthly setup, and Bailey's going to be behind the scenes. And then there's going to be another weekly setup tomorrow evening. So we've got a lot of socials going on. And then, of course, we always do the Monday morning weekly setup at 7. So lots of good opportunities, and you are welcome to attend as many of these as you would like, right? Yeah. Jennifer's saying I may do tonight and tomorrow. Absolutely. Do as many as you need to. And I will say a lot of times, some folks will come and they hang out in the chat and they like to talk with their friends and, kind of talking about the journal, talking about things that are going on, and then they do the setup later. Some people like to nose in the journal, they're, head down, they ignore the chat, they just work in their journals. Some people do a little mix of both. That's why it's good sometimes to come to multiple setups. Like I said, we usually do 3, a Saturday one, a Sunday one, and a Monday one, so that you have that. We do also record these so that they are available on YouTube. Just know that the chat won't be there. So, and sometimes the music gets redacted. So, for copyright, that kind of thing. So sometimes that won't be there, but it does work in a pinch, right? If you can't make one of our setups. Also want to make sure to emphasize that you set that Zoom chat to everyone. It has a tendency to default back to host and panelist if you're on like an iPhone or an iPad. So just know that sometimes that happens. So just make sure that says everyone when you type in the chat. Also, as Jen is typing there in the chat, you may want to take screenshots of things that you want to remember. Things you want to hold for later. And again, like I said, we record it and the recordings have been posted on YouTube pretty quickly. So those will be there for you. And so I appreciate everyone who was weighing in on their scale of opossums, how they're feeling today. I saw quite a few happy little babies. I saw a few people with the one annoyance away from biting someone. I think if you've been with family or a lot of family this weekend, this holiday weekend, maybe that is your opossum feeling for the day. I really like the little plotting advanced silliness, or the not a single brainwave, and the horrified screaming is one. Maybe that's the littles, right? That are the little ones that are overstimulated and oversugared, that are running around. So thank you all for being here. So just a quick reminder of our community guidelines. We want to make sure this is a safe and supportive space for everyone who is here. So we just ask that you're kind and courteous to both yourself and to others. No promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy, no hate speech or bullying. We try to limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. It's fine to ask a few things like about, markers that don't bleed through or where somebody got their stickers. But honestly, the best place to ask that is in Sonder Club, because then folks can put in the links and those kinds of things. Because oftentimes the links in the chat here won't work for whatever reason. And then any of those customer care inquiries go to our team, hello@silkensonder.com. So for example, if you need to update your billing address, if you, excuse me, or your mailing address, your billing information, I know that a lot of times I'll have a credit card that expires that I use for, is like online for some of my recurring subscriptions, and I forget to update it when it expires. And then you get that, nasty gram that's like, your credit card could not be processed. And then you get that panic like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my credit card? So just take a look. This is a good time. Take a look at your credit cards that you have on file. Make sure that everything is up to date on all the sites. If there's anything you need to change with that, hello@silkensonder.com, that customer care folks can take care of you. Just know they're a Monday through Friday Pacific Coast 9 to 5 operation. So it might take a few minutes for them to get back to you, right? So a little patience is appreciated. And then ultimately remember that these socials really are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And if you've been with us for a while, you know we have a fabulous, supportive, creative, happy, wonderful community, but ultimately you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if there's ever anything that we're working on that just is not your jam, you're just not feeling it, feel free to do whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to color and just listen to the music. Maybe you just want to hang out in the chat and chat with friends and you don't want to, work on this. Maybe my voice is not your jam, so you can mute me. We have closed captioning enabled, so you can always turn that on. Maybe the music I play isn't your jam, so you can, mute that. Whatever you need to do for this hour, really this is your time to spend, and there's no wrong way to do this. This is your time. You have carved out this time. You have set aside this hour to work here. Also, Jen O is popping in. We do have the 25% off site wide at Silk and Sonder, which is a small business, a small women-owned business. Black 25 is the code, and I'll talk about that too at the end. So that you can kind of see that. But let us dive into our new theme. So not that we're leaving kindness behind, right? I know Jen was doing a setup last night and she said that there were some people that were like, oh, I really liked the theme of kindness. I hate to leave it. And it's like, well, you don't have to stop being kind. It's okay. We can bring kindness forward. And I even have a fun little slide here to show you how you can bring kindness forward here into December. But this month's theme is this idea of renewal. And I found some fun little quotes that kind of talked about that of renewal requires opening yourself up to new ways of thinking and feeling. So renewal doesn't mean just like completely scrapping everything and starting all over again. Sometimes it's really kind of that thinking differently, thinking in a new way. And renewal is what happens when you realize that some of the stuff you've been carrying around doesn't matter. So I know a lot of us sometimes will carry around baggage, like we're getting ready for a trip, but we need to set it down. And so December is a great month to really kind of think about the stuff that we can set down and leave behind with us in 2025. And then the other quote says, rest when you're weary, refresh and renew yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, and then get back to work. So I think a lot of times seeing December as this month of renewal and thinking about what we need to do for ourselves, maybe it's our environment, maybe it's our mindsets, maybe it's our habits, need just a little bit of a refresh and renewal. So I'm excited to dig into this theme and the colors. I know a few people had mentioned how much they love the colors of this month, and I do too. They're so beautiful. The pretty blues and all of that look very, very pretty. So our agenda for today, we're going to do a renewal mind map. So on the weekly setups, we do what we call a mind map. And it's where it just gives you an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into the theme of the month. And these are not printed in your journal. They're not found anywhere else. They're just during these weekly setups. And then we're going to do our rosebud thorn, a little bit of reflection. And that page will actually be in your November journal. So if you only have December's journal, that's okay. You can do your rosebud thorn activity on a blank page. And then we'll do those weekly setup pages. So if you've been with me for a while, you know I always use these little cartoons to illustrate a couple little points. First of all, there's room for you here just as you are. So if you're happy, if your things are going well, if you want to celebrate, if you want to share good things, we love to celebrate with our Sonder fam. Love to see that. But conversely, we know life is not always that series of ups, right? We have the downs. So maybe things are not going well. Maybe you've had some illness. Maybe you've had an injury. Maybe you have some job issues. Maybe there's some family issues, right? You can share those as well. You don't just have to share the happy things. We're really here for you wherever you are, whatever's going on. And we love seeing, kind of what's happening in your life. And sometimes it's really helpful to see that other people are struggling with similar things. I think we sometimes think we're the only ones struggling, but that's not the case. Oftentimes, there are lots of folks struggling with the same things we are. And then the other one says the way you feel matters and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. So no one can tell you, oh, you should be happy about this, or you shouldn't be mad at this, or those kinds of things, right? This really is, they're your feelings. You can feel however you feel, and we're here for all of that, right? We're here for the feels. So for our renewal mind map, you're going to find a blank page in your journal. Maybe it's the weekly scratch pad section, something like that. And then we're going to think about this theme of renewal. Oftentimes we focus too much on what we haven't done yet instead of how we have grown, right? This month, we're going to be exploring our theme of renewal with a focus on celebrating progress over perfection and creating space to move forward. And this is so important because I think so many times we forget how much we've done to be where we are, and we only focus on what we aren't doing or what we don't have. So we really want to spend some time thinking about what we have done this year. So week one, this is going to be week one here. Your question to think about and write about is, what is your favorite thing you have done for self-care this year? It may be something small or something big. Why was it your favorite, and how did it make you feel? So you can see I set up mine. I did mine on page 60, the very last page, so it's easy to find every week. I just kind of used some pretty color coordinating washi tape that I had. Got to use that washi tape. And just kind of divided it into the 4 quadrants. We always do the 4 weeks. So if there happens to be an extra weekend in the month, which I think there is this month, we will have a bonus mind map so that can be somewhere else, right? So again, just any blank page. You can do the weekly scratch pad if you want to. Maybe you just want to write this on sticky notes. Maybe you want to use the definition page on page 3. There's some blank pages on page 22 and 23. There's the quote page on page 38 that you can write. The blank page on page 60, any of that. You can also do, Jen often traces around her driver's license. It makes a nice little rectangle there to fill in, or find some fun cookie cutter shapes to draw in, or a can lid to kind of create those response spaces. Or like I said, I just kind of divided into the quadrants with my washi tape. So before you pick up that pen, or as you have that pen in your hand, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment and take a deep breath, right? Think about this year. Sometimes it's really hard to think all the way back to January, right? And think about that. Let the first most honest answer bubble up for you. What was the favorite thing you have done for self-care for yourself this year? And then really start to dive into those details. What did you do? And more importantly, why was this the favorite thing? What did your soul need? Why did your soul need this particular thing? How did it make your body, mind, and spirit feel right after? And how does remembering it make you feel now? And maybe try to use an adjective you don't normally use. Maybe don't just write, it made me feel good, or it made me feel relaxed. Was it restorative? Was it unburdened? Was it fierce, amazing, delicious? What are all of those? What is that feeling that you had when you did that favorite thing for self-care? And I think for me with self-care, I really tried to slow down. I really tried to honor my body, what I needed, and not keep pushing myself, pushing through like I would allow myself to maybe sit on a Sunday in the chair and read a book and put my feet up, and instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I have 50 million things to do. So feel free, write this, share in the chat. Um, Jennifer got her Reiki level 1 certification. I love that. That is so exciting. So share in the chat. I'm going to be quiet so you can work on this. I will cycle through these slides so you have these to look at, and then we will check back in and keep moving on. I love what everyone is sharing there in the chat, the different things. that you did this year for self-care. Some of them are small, some of them are big. Somebody took a bookcation with their friends, like did some book reading, did a little vacation with friends and reading books. I think that sounds amazing. Um, some folks did some, watching some different shows, setting up a new morning routine. I'm just kind of looking through starting new jobs. Looking through the chat there to see some different exercise things. Like Christine's been in a rowing in a quad boat since last fall, and it's done wonders for my mind, body, and soul. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to, after this call, being able to go out and walk in the snow. Pretty excited about that. So I love just taking this time to kind of reflect on what you did this year, maybe thinking about how Silk and Sonder using your journal helped you set up routines, helped you try some new habits. And this is a good question to really think about all week, right? Really kind of think about self-care, what worked really well this year, and then maybe even going forward and thinking about how you're going to continue that into the next year and what that looks like. Yeah, Susie said she started resistance training. Yes, I need to get back into that. I really like that. And it's so important for us to do that resistance training. It's not like we have to lift big, giant, heavy weights. We just have to do a little bit of resistance there. Knitting, crocheting, finding new hobbies, reading. I've definitely gotten back into doing a lot more reading, and that makes me super happy. So thank you all so much for sharing there in the chat. You can keep sharing there, but we do, based on time, we do have to kind of keep moving. So we're going to dive into our rosebud thorn activity. And like I said, this is going to be in your November journal. And it is on page, I'm trying to find that. It is on page 56. And again, if you don't have the November journal, you can definitely. Oh, Claire is saying, why isn't my pole dancing getting a shout out? Well, Claire, I must not have seen it, but girl, pole dancing, I love it. I think I would probably fall right off the pole, but I love that as a fun idea, self-care. Again, anytime we move our bodies, a lot of times it feels a lot better. Our bodies really are meant to move. So I love that folks are finding different things, finding something that you enjoy. So anyway, so our rosebud thorn there on page 56. If you don't have the November journal, you can always use just a blank space in the December journal, wherever you would like. And we really want to think about some of these different things that happen during the week. This is a great reflection activity. It also works really well when you do your monthly setup and you have to think back on the month of November. You can go back to your rosebud thorns from each week to kind of jog your memory a little bit. So I start with the thorn because I like to start with the challenge and end with something more fun. So my thorn for the week, the challenge is I have osteoarthritis in my knees and my right knee decided to flare up, but it really is my fault because I was eating sugar again, processed sugar, which my body does not like, and it throws me into a state of inflammation. So that definitely was a challenge. So the thorn is just something that's a challenge. Maybe it's something beyond your control, although I'll be honest, the eating the sugar was totally within my control. But maybe that was the frustrating part of it, right? Is that it was in my control. I did it and then had to pay the consequence of my actions, right? So maybe it's something you just kind of want to vent about, something that hopefully is temporary and we'll be moving on. Then our bud is something that's an emerging opportunity, something that's exciting, something that we're looking forward to, something that seems really fun. It could be a trip, it could be visiting with friends or family. For me, I'm definitely excited now. I can start watching the holiday movies. My husband does not like it when I watch any sort of holiday movies before Thanksgiving, unless it's like a Thanksgiving movie. So we can watch like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. But there aren't a lot of Thanksgiving movies. So I was very excited. So Thanksgiving, that Thursday evening, I was like, so can I watch a holiday movie now? Is that okay if we watch a holiday movie? So we watched Miracle on 34th Street, the old one with Natalie Wood and black and white, which is one of my absolute favorites. And so we watched that and it was super, super fun. And then our rose is something that was a highlight, something that was exciting, something that was happy. Oh, Denise said her Gobble Wobble had 1,160 racers benefiting the local homeless shelter. That's fantastic. So yeah, so for me, definitely the rose, the highlight. The fun thing was Thanksgiving Day. Went over to my sister's. We had a pretty low key one. Got a ham from the Honey Bake Ham Company. Everybody brought kind of their own little side dish, and we just kind of sat around. I knitted. I finished my nephew and his wife are expecting a baby in January. So I finished that baby blanket. And interestingly enough, he was the first baby that I actually knit a blanket for. So it's kind of come full circle now, knitting for his little one who's due in January. So that was exciting. And then yesterday I had Friendsgiving at a friend's house, and she's like this super gourmet cook, and there's like 25 people there, and we had this fabulous meal. And yesterday morning we went up to the mountains to get our Christmas tree. We cut our own Christmas tree, and that always happens usually the day after Thanksgiving or Saturday. And we've been doing that since 2000, so quite a while. So super fun. So feel free to share in the chat. I see folks are sharing their rose, their bud, their thorn there in the chat. I'll play just a little bit of music here for us, and then we'll keep moving on. Thank you all so much for sharing in the chat, sharing those rose, the bud, and the thorn. And I know sometimes it's um, very frustrating. Sometimes the thorn seems to sometimes overshadow that rose, but then sometimes we can just kind of hold onto that bud and continue looking forward. And with this theme of renewal, I think that's a great way to kind of go forward, thinking about that. So I saw lots of folks, for a lot of folks, the rose was their Thanksgiving with family. But I see some folks with like some car troubles that are the thorn, some health issues, um, some of those frustrating things. So hopefully things will continue to improve. I mean, we always have some sort of a thorn. I think, was it Jen? Was it you that said the one time you like, oh, I didn't have any thorns this week, and then I think you got into like a little fender bender. So we know that there, we know. Yeah, Jen says it was her. Um, so it's like we don't want to tempt fate and say we don't have any thorns. So there's always some sort of thorn, right? And that's okay, because really that's the thing that balances out the good stuff, right? Just like we can't appreciate the light without the darkness. We can't appreciate the warmth without the cold, vice versa. So this is a really good balancing activity, I think, for us to really kind of think about. And maybe if the thorn has been really bad, we can focus on that bud and think about how things will change. This too shall pass, right? Even though sometimes it's not a lot of fun. So let's dive into our weekly planner here in our, I almost call it the January journal. Goodness, I'm just jumping right ahead. No. This is our December journal. My pages want to stick together. So we're on page 26 and 27 of December. Again, super excited that this month starts with a Monday. And we are going to start with how we want to feel. And this can be just one word. It can be a set of words. I gave you a lot of other words to think about. So sometimes instead of saying this week I want to feel, you can say this week I am. This week I am free. This week I am renewing or feeling that sense. I want to feel renewal. This week I am divine, wise, creative. So think about what that word is that you want. I always say this is Susie says she wants to feel warm. We'll get it in a nice fuzzy blanket. This is, I always say this is kind of how you want to show up for yourself and for the world. Lots of folks want to feel festive, want to feel joyful, want to feel accomplished, in control, peaceful. It can be set of several words. You might want to find a sticker to just kind of show how you're feeling. Like when one has the little Mighty Mouse and they want to feel mighty, they want to feel realigned. Fun in the sun. I don't know that there's necessarily, for a lot of us, there may not be sun. I'm sure it'll warm up here because the snow never lasts, but kind of thinking about that, feel the self-love. And then I also want to talk about the weekly major 3 goals as you work on that. So feel free to kind of keep popping in the chat you're feeling. And then sometimes when you think about that feeling, think about goals that will help you achieve that feeling. So if you have set up your month, if you set up December, maybe you want to look back at those intentions that you set and your monthly habit tracker. If you haven't set that up yet, don't worry. I know some of you are going to do that tonight or tomorrow or Monday. Maybe you want to set these goals through the lens of renewal, so ways that you want to renew different aspects of your life. Maybe you want to do some no goals. So maybe it's no alcohol. For me, it's no added sugar. No more than a certain number of minutes on social media, no impulse spending, no takeout meals. Maybe we want to look at the previous weeks to see if there were any outstanding goals that we want to accomplish. Maybe you want to start, one of your goals is to start your holiday shopping. Maybe you want to frame your goals around a single personal challenge. So maybe there's a fitness challenge. You want to do 5 sit-ups each day or 2 push-ups each day. Cleaning or decluttering, self-care. Maybe it's trying some new recipes. And then I found this fun little graphic that says December is the month to enjoy the company of loved ones, celebrate your wins and progress, finish off what you started, aim high, dream big, and start fresh. Be grateful for the love you have. So those could potentially be goals as well. Here's some examples of folks who have their feeling and then their goals. So you can kind of see one wants to feel authentic and then they have a body, mind, and spirit goal. Another one wants to feel energized and they have a mind, a body, and a work goal. One person wants to celebrate. They want to feel celebratory for the week. And so they're going to celebrate their health and celebrate family and celebrate vacationing. So maybe there's those kinds of things that you can take a look at. And then here's some other examples of things that folks have done. I love the little drawing of the snuggly warm person with their little snuggle, cozy. They wanted to feel cozy and warm and loved. And so they have their little candle and their blanket and a book and some hot drink and their little puppy dog. I'm assuming that's a puppy dog. It could be a cat. I don't know. And then some people like to just kind of like a left brain, right brain, and a no brain. Oh, is it a fox? Oh yeah, the cozy fox down at the bottom. He's super cute, right? The little sticker. So again, this is a good place for stickers for your goals. I also have been putting in the 6 ways to prioritize your mental health till New Year's. Again, this can be a stressful time of a stressful time of the year for folks. I get to talking too fast. And then maybe just your goals are decluttering and organizing and cleaning. Maybe you want to have 3 new words. Maybe you want to have a list of holiday movies you want to watch this week. Maybe you want to create a little playlist for yourself, have some fun activities for yourself. Those are all different things that you can do in those goals. So I'll play a brief little bit of music, let you work on that, and then we'll continue on that page. Great. Thank you for sharing again the way you want to feel this month. I saw lots of folks wanting to really dig into this theme of renewal. Um, Finding ways to do that. And I also saw a lot of folks wanting to set up some specific hygge, which is the Hygge. It's pronounced hygge. It's the Danish concept of kind of like cozy, but it's more than cozy. It's kind of this whole vibe. So I love, yeah, the people that have the fun ideas for what that looks like. And if you look through our videos, the recordings for these socials, and I can't remember how far back it was, and we'll see if we can find the link. But if you look back through those, we did a couple Hygge socials that were super fun. And there was a couple other socials, I think, where we did like a little Hygge activity. So lots of fun ideas. But if you just Google it, and I have some slides too that have some examples of things you can do for that as you go through. So let's move over to our to-dos and our habits and activities. These sometimes are kind of interchangeable, so I like to talk about them both together. Here's some examples of things that folks have done for the to-dos. I love they have kind of like a nice little stickers of things that they want to do, like cleaning and laundry and an early start and eating well for their to-dos with the fun little stickers. Sometimes people divide them up into that work and home. So that can be super helpful, or a morning and evening. You want to divide up kind of what that looks like, things that are to-dos. Then you can see one person has their to-dos. They kind of have it divided into three over there on the right hand. Excuse me, right hand side. Oh, Jen's popping in the link from the Hygge social from back in 22. Oh my goodness, which doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was. Or then just a list of basic to-dos, right? Like painting their toenails, reserving a house for vacation, sewing, decluttering, meditating, focusing on fill my cup. So those are all great ideas. Self, others, and house. I also popped in this fun self-care advent calendar with some fun ideas of things that maybe you want to do. These would be probably some nice Hygge activities to pop in there. Oh, Marion, I love that. She has a sticker that says, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. I love that. Um, and I like it's a roller coaster right now, but you've got this. So they have a little drawing in there. Sometimes people just put stickers and they don't necessarily write things down. Sometimes people change it up to a to be list. I want to be something. I want to be positive, powerful, productive, and proud. Nice little statements there. Sometimes you want to come up with a not to do list, things you do not want to do. I will not doubt my self worth. I will not embrace negative self talk, those kinds of things. So, love that idea. Yeah, isn't that's a very nice alliteration there. Positive, powerful, productive, and proud. You could feel that too. Those would be good feelings for the week as well. And then our habits and activities, or habities, as I called them one time when I was talking too fast. You can see lots of different fun ideas for things to do with this. Again, you do not have to fill in every single line. You can fill in some lines. And the idea with these, and they're different from the monthly habit tracker, is that these are things maybe you just want to do a few times during the week, or maybe they're a habit you want to try out to see how it feels, to see how you feel if you do this. So maybe you just want to do it a couple times. So you can see, like, one person where they have the 5 4 3 2 1, so they want to journal 5 times and they circled the 5 days. They want to, this was spring, so they wanted to have some spring gratitude. You maybe want to have some winter gratitude, as that is coming up, the official first day on the 21st of December. 4 times, so they want to do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Do some strength training 3 times, do some yoga 2 times, do a walk outside 1 time. Those are all good ideas. You can see the one like kind of in the top middle, they X'd out the kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because they were like, I'm not going to worry about trying to track things. Maybe I'm on vacation, or maybe that's not time that I want to track with those particular things. And then here's, if you want to bring kindness forward from November, you want to keep that vibe going. Here are December acts of kindness from really great group that I follow, Ordinary and Happy on Instagram. They also, you can sign up if you go to their website. And I think you can just search it like Ordinary and Happy and find it. You can sign up for daily emails that they'll send you fun little daily things that you can do, journal ideas, food ideas, different kinds of fun things. And then they always have some sort of fun. They have I think they have like a holiday movie one, all these different things. But this is great. These acts of kindness, send a postcard to someone you haven't talked to in a while. And then, of course, there's a fabulous December bucket list. Yeah, Beth Ann loves Ordinary and Happy. Yeah, they have so many great, just fun, uplifting things. And I love the little graphics with all the fun little, they have a Christmas charcuterie, kind of fun. Yeah, so okay, just extending those acts of kindness into December. And sometimes the acts of kindness help us feel that sense of renewal. So I think that's a great way to take a look at that. I think is that the last one? Yep. So I'm going to play a little bit of music and let you work on your to-dos and your habities. Play just a brief little bit of music and then we'll check back in. All right, so hopefully you got some good ideas for those to-dos, those habits and activities. I did add for mine to send a postcard. It doesn't necessarily, I won't necessarily have it be to someone I haven't talked to for a while, but I think that's a great idea. And I have so many postcards and I have so many postcard stamps. I accidentally had got on a like a recurring order from the post office to send postcard stamps of like the 100 luckily they're the forever ones, but like to send the rolls of 100. So I think I have like, I don't know, 300 postcard stamps. So maybe perhaps that would be a good use of time this week is to send those. And I see some other folks saying some other fun things, a cozy festive home, business inventory, what other fun things do I see on there? Different ways to kind of think about these things. And again, sometimes it's again, you don't have to fill in every single line. Lots of different ideas, different things to use there. So now that we've kind of got the idea for this first page, page 26, we are going to flip over to page 27, which Katie, one of our other facilitators, lovingly calls the B side of the record, right? A lot of times we only listen to the A side of the record, which I'm very mad I can't find the plug for my record player. So I have not been able to play my records for a while, but this is the B side. And I think this is one of the more repurposed pages just because you can really kind of use this for what you need this week. So yes, you can obviously use these areas, the meal plan to plan your meals. You can use the mind body health plan to plan out some things for your mind and your body. You can make the shopping list be a shopping list. But there are lots of different things to use. And I'm going to show you many of the different ways and things that people have used in these areas. One thing a lot of folks like to do bingo, make a little mini bingo board, makes it a little fun. Some people like to do that with a to-do list as well. Maybe you want to write your daily affirmations or scriptures. Maybe you want to do a cleaning plan, mindfulness activity planner. Maybe you want to track your dreams, an outfit tracker. This is always, I love to use this for the meal plan for a packing list. So I plan my outfits for the days I'm going to be gone. Totally helps me keeps me from overpacking. Maybe it's a hooray list celebrating good things, even if they're small. Maybe it's a wins. Um, Never underestimate the power of celebrating those small wins. So the other day we were coming home from the movies and we were tempted to stop and eat out, but I thought, we're trying to like save money and we have food at home that we really need to eat before it goes bad. So it's like, let's just go home and cook up what we have. And I was like, that is a definite win. We did not stop to eat out. We came home and ate what we had in the refrigerator. So track those small wins, right? And then you can look back and be like, look, I had these wins and it really feels good. Here's some other examples of things that people have done. A kindness quote doodle, doing some fun little doodles, a daily affirmation, make it happen, a nice cleaning list. Maybe this you like to do, you're not so much into spring cleaning, but you like the winter cleaning, kind of tidying things up. Maybe you're getting things all cozy. So kind of keeping track of that. Here's another December bucket list. This one's from Ambitiously Alexa. I think she was the one who did the self-care Advent as well. These are all ones that I follow on Instagram. And the nice thing is once you start following some of these, then their algorithm will suggest more that are just like that. So you can find more to follow. So that's a nice use of the algorithm. So lots of fun things. I like the build a tiny winter memory book, do a thrifted holiday outfit exchange, host a cozy bring your craft night, write cards to 3 meaningful people, make a mini 2025 time capsule. The time capsule idea is kind of fun. Different ways to use that. And I'm going to go over all these sections and then give you time to work on each one of them. So here's some things that folks have done for the mind body health. Another fun alliteration where they have Meatless Monday, TV Free Tuesday, Walking Wednesday, Thoughtful Thursday, Family Fun Friday, Sabbath Saturday, Self-Care Sunday. Fun ways to do that. Ways to love yourself on the Mind Body Health Plan. Be quirky, be kind, be patient, be intentional, be mindful, celebrate yourself. One person wrote something I did well this week and some ways I loved others this week. That's a fun way to do that. And as we are embracing the lack of sunlight, which will finally start to come back December 21st, right? So not that much longer of the shortened daylight hours. Here's some things that help when it's always dark out. So doing things like batch cooking, creating a consistent AM or PM routine, those kinds of things. And I really appreciate the one that says, remind yourself it's normal to need more rest in the winter. We can't go at the same pace that we did in the summertime when it was sunny and warm outside, right? We need to remind ourselves that winter sometimes is a time to rest, not to completely hibernate, right? But to maybe we do go to bed a little bit earlier or start getting ready for bed a little bit earlier, right? So thinking of those things, right? Nature tells us to slow down. Of course, here's the fabulous Hygge slide with like a little 7-day Hygge challenge. So for Monday, you're going to cook dinner, turn on music, and eat by candlelight. And I love the battery powered candles because we have a cat. She's old now, so she doesn't get up on the counters quite as much, but that's always my husband's fear, is that the cat's going to get on the counter, knock over a candle, and start a fire. So the battery powered ones, they're great. They even kind of flicker. They're not terribly expensive. You get those, pop those all around the house. So lots of fun ideas there. So take a snapshot of that if you want to work on that. And then the shopping list, again, a lot of different things you can use for this. Maybe you set some intentions, have a little self-care bingo, mind, body, heart bingo, make a nice quote that you appreciate, especially like if you do tarot cards or oracle cards, maybe one of those. to kind of think about planning for the week. I like no unnecessary spending or stay out of the dollar store. Maybe you have your chores list, a packing list if you're going to be traveling, ways to fill up your cup. And I saw Amanda says, I've been loving my mind body health plan or labeling it as I feel, so I will. So dividing it in half. I feel this way, and so I will do this thing, right? So maybe if you feel tired, I will allow myself to take a nap. Or maybe it's if I feel tired, I will go for a quick 5 minute walk outside, right? Different kinds of things. And then that last part I am loving is just something that you are particularly loving that week. So a lot of times I like to fill this out in the middle of the week. But I did find this fun little graphic that I thought was really cute. It's the I'm choosing less. So less feeling guilty, less rushing, less doubting myself, less trying too hard, less worrying, less people pleasing, less I should be, right? We cannot should ourselves, less comparison and less needing to. So sometimes just knowing that I'm choosing less, and less can actually make room for more things. So I'm going to be quiet. I will cycle through these slides. As you get ideas, please feel free to pop those into the chat. Then we'll check back in and we will wrap things up. Right. Can you believe it has been an hour? I honestly do not know where the time goes when we have these socials. It is always so fast, much faster than a treadmill hour, right? So thank you all so much for sharing in the chat kind of how you're using this section. And again, this is really a great place to kind of experiment with some different things. Maybe you want to track. I know, Jennifer, you do have to shovel. I'm sorry, but it's good exercise. Just be careful, right? Oh, thank you, Radhika. My hair has been very shiny lately. I don't know, maybe it's new shampoo that I'm using. Um, so please feel free to share your weekly planner with us in Sonder Club. As you can see, all these examples came from you. It's all the what I call the HI, the human intelligence, not the AI, the artificial intelligence. We have a lot of human intelligence and creativity here in this group. So we love seeing that. And remember, today is Small Business Saturdays. So if you did some fun Black Friday shopping yesterday at big box stores, today is a good day to find some little ways to support those small businesses. Lots of bookstores and there's tea shops, and find all those fun things so you can support those local businesses so they stay around for us. And we do have right now the 25% off site wide with the code Black25. I do not know how long that code lasts. My guess is probably through Monday, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. But if for some reason you go to use it and it doesn't work, just send an email to that hello@silkonsonder.com. And I know that they usually send out emails with different kinds of things. I think they're also doing our coaching. I think they have a 50% off. I think there was an email about that went out. So if you have any questions on that, you can send those to hello@silkonsonder.com. Lots of good sales coming up. Lots of fun ways to potentially share this with others, right? And again, like I said, Jen's popping lots of links in the chat there for like other upcoming socials. We've got a monthly setup going on tonight. We've got a couple setups tomorrow, a couple setups on Monday. So love seeing everyone here. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. And remember, if you see what you want at the small businesses, if you see it, you like it, and you can buy it. So I thought this was kind of fun. And I will pop my link in the chat for my playlist. Thank you all. Take care.
I see it, and I like it, and I want it. Yes, I do. I need it to make me happy. Oh, baby, yes, I do mean you. From the moment I laid eyes on you, this is what I said. I said, a beautiful sight to see is everything that makes you you. It means so much to me. Every little thing you do is more than I can bear. Whenever you are near, my arms I have to fight. Whenever you're in sight, I wanna grab you 'cause I see it and I like it.